Well, Gery Chico joins us here on AM 560 WIND. Good morning, Gery. How are you, sir?
Hey, John. How are you and Amy doing? Happy New Year to you and all your listeners.
Happy New Year to you, too. So are you in it to win it, like Amy said, or is this all being orchestrated by Rahm Emanuel?
Oh, I am in it to win it. Let me say, we've raised, I'll report some news here right now. We've raised in excess of $2.5 million in just 10 weeks.
Wow.
To get our message out. And starting just about this week, we are going to hit it and hit it hard, and I am committed to being the next mayor of Chicago.
Gery, do you have enough money for TV ads or more TV ads than you have right now?
Oh, yeah. We've already purchased some TV, and we're going to be robust in the way we communicate our message. And the message is going to be pretty clear, clearly contrasting with my two opponents. One, look, those folks are from Washington. That's the bottom line. If you look at their resumes, that's what it's all about. We are Chicagoans. I am a Chicagoan. I have been the chief of staff for the mayor, the president of the school board, president of the park board, and the president of the city colleges. I've balanced budgets. Every one of them I've had has been balanced. Unfortunately, in Washington, they don't do that. So I think it's going to be a pretty stark contrast between the candidates going forward.
I want to ask you about the school board members. I know you're president of the school board, but you want, are you for them being an elected body, or do you want to keep it as it is right now?
No, I've been very strongly opposed to an elected school board because the last thing we need is 13 more politicians running around with no accountability but a lot of title. And I think that's a problem because, when I was president of the school board, it was real clear. The mayor was accountable. The school board president and the CEO were accountable for the results of the system. We ought to keep it that way. We've got a lot of improvement that we need to make, and we're not going to make it by diffusing responsibility. We have to make individuals singularly accountable for results. And I, as mayor, relish that responsibility. I think that's a strong indicator of the health and the future direction of our city. And that's the direction I want to take our city. I want that responsibility.
Gery Chico, earlier this morning we were talking about school vouchers. What's your stance on school vouchers?
I've proposed a school voucher program for as many as 50,000 children. I think I'm the only remaining candidate in the race to have proposed that. In fact, our education plan is the only comprehensive plan for the redirection of our Chicago public schools. It includes new preschools, better recruitment of teachers, a longer school day, a longer school year, the introduction of technology in a way like we haven't used it before, and it also includes the feature of vouchers to deal with those chronically underperforming schools where we can't sit around any longer and watch the children just wallow in failure. We have to step up and admit that there's some other ways to do things.
Now, Gery, were you surprised that Reverend James Meeks dropped out and then, followed up by Congressman Danny Davis? Did you see that coming?
Well, I've never really much concentrated on who's in or who's out of the race. It's just not been what our campaign's been about. I mean, we have a strategy. We have a plan. Part of that plan has been to talk about our resume being from Chicago, having gone to the Chicago Public Schools, stepped up to handle every one of the tough jobs in this city and accomplished on them. And developing the resources to communicate that message all the way through, Amy, which is what we're going to do. We're going to be on television shortly and stay on all the way through at a robust level to the end of this campaign, February 22nd, and we're going to win.
Have you heard from anybody that you've approached for contributions saying, well, I'd like to, but I got a call from Rahm Emanuel that I can't support you, I can only support him, or bad things will happen?
No, I haven't heard that. I mean, I think each of the candidates has their own style for soliciting contributions. Mine's pretty straightforward. I say, look, here's what I offer. I hope you can support me. And fortunately for us, in the vast majority of the cases, the people have said yes and have contributed to our campaign. And we're grateful for all contributions we get to our campaign. The $10 contribution and the one into the thousands of dollars. We're grateful for everything.
Now, recently, Rahm Emanuel released his third Getting It Done video, telling the story of how he passed the Elder Justice Act, which I know protects nursing home patients. Did he introduce this bill?
I don't believe he did. And, this is the thing you got to be mindful of in campaigns. You're going to see a lot of hyperbole here about people having done things or claim credit for things that they didn't do. I'm going to keep it on the facts. I'm going to try to keep it on the issues. We've run our campaign so far like that, and we intend to keep running it on that. We're going to be a fact-based campaign. We're going to put out issues. We're going to put out plans. We will be provocative in some cases, but that's the way we're going to lead our city in a new direction. That's what I'd like to do.
But was the bill introduced before Emanuel became a congressman?
That's what I understand to be the case.
And it didn't pass until after he left the House.
I understand that to be the case, too.
Don't you think the next mayor of the city of Chicago is going to get wiped out because there's no money left, and Daley has spent our future, essentially. He's getting out while the getting's good, I suppose. Mm-hmm. Wouldn't it be better to become the second mayor after Mayor Daley rather than the first?
Well, I look, if you're asking me, I think this is the time for people who are sincere about being mayor to step up, not step back. We have a financial challenge, a major financial challenge in our hands at both the city and the public schools. Frankly, I'm the only person that's had experience in dealing with either one. I've balanced every budget I've had at the city and left a surplus. Mm-hmm. And at the Chicago Public Schools, in 1995, the projected budget deficit was $1.3 billion. We straightened that out in about 45 days, and when I left 6 years later, we had $350 million in the bank. So I think experience counts, and that's what I'm going to be bringing to the voters in terms of my message.
Now, Gery, what are your thoughts on possibly raising taxes or using them for negotiations for future contracts with the police and fire department?
Well, I'm not going to be seeking to raise taxes. I think the taxpayers right now are just pummeled, and that's not the place to go. I think you have to tear down this budget, rebuild it in a very, very efficient way. You have to look for new sources of revenue. We've talked about recycling in our city in a way that makes us money. We should not be sitting around watching the festivals cost us $7 million. We should have the festivals make us $7 million, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. It's a whole new way of thinking. And I think if you employ that kind of approach, we're going to be fine, and we're going to have optimism in our city and our school system.
Well, good luck, Gery, and Happy New Year.
Thank you to both of you, too. Thanks for giving me the chance to be on. I appreciate it.
Hey, look forward to having you on again soon.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks,
Bye.
Gery.